Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our very wet weather window tonight. And yeah, off and on rain showers throughout north central Washington today, and a very low cloud deck as one storm system is moving through, a cold front set to move through behind this, and then a very large storm is headed our way just in time for the weekend. But as this storm leaves our area, we could see some snow on the ground by tomorrow morning, especially in this Cascade Passes. Stevens Pass, Blewett Pass, and Washington Pass could all see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow by tomorrow morning. And as I mentioned, those numbers will just go up as we move into the upcoming weekend with that bigger storm on the way. Much more on that coming up a little bit later on. And for those watching on our Facebook, tune in to LocalTel Channel 12 or Charter Channel 19, or you can stream us live at ncwlife.com for the full evening newscast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Grant County narcotics team makes a record drug bust totaling $1.2 million. A woman is injured after getting hit by a car near Dryden, and ballots are on the way. We'll have more candidates to profile for you tonight. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, arson investigators were combing through the ruins of a residential structure fire this morning in Wenatchee. Police and crews were called out at around 5:20 this morning to the fire located at a vacant 2-story home in the 1500 block of Walla Walla Avenue. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department describes what happened.
Upon arrival, fire crews determined that the fire had started in the boat that was parked outside the residence and then extended to the house. At this time, the boat is totally gone. It was basically consumed and melted by the fire. Fiberglass and fire get along very well once they start burning. The house itself has pretty decent structural damage. At this point, the fire has been determined to be suspicious, so it is under investigation. We would ask that people not be going down there. The road's relatively narrow there. There's a lot of commercial traffic with Bluebird fruit shippers right across the street and the other fruit warehouse basically next door to this last residence on that part of Walla Walla Street. And so just give crews room to work.
The fire was put out in short order with no injuries. The name of the homeowner was not released. A Grant County Interagency Narcotics Enforcement Team, or INET, made a record drug bust totaling $1.2 million this month following a traffic stop made last year in Moses Lake. In October of 2016, a suspect was found with nearly 8 pounds of meth and heroin. Our narcotics team investigation led to an additional 7 warrants served, netting more than 25 pounds of meth, 7 pounds of heroin, and 40 pounds of processed marijuana. Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones said this is the largest drug seizure in the history of INET. With the help of Moses Lake Police, Jose Miranda was arrested last year during that traffic stop, leading to the arrest of Maria Chavez Diaz, 27 years old, of Moses Lake. Also recovered were 9 guns, 2 of them stolen, body armor, a money counter, and a metal detector, with warrants served on homes and storage units throughout Grant County. This latest INET arrest comes on the heels of an arrest earlier this month where law enforcement officials seized 41,000 pounds of marijuana, 56 illegal firearms, and a large amount of cash throughout Grant County. A Peshaston woman was injured Wednesday after she was struck by a pickup truck while attempting to walk across Highway 2 near Dryden. A State Patrol report identified the woman as 64-year-old Esperanza Curiel Castaneda. She was hit after the driver of a 2002 Toyota Tacoma pickup driven by 66-year-old Roger Baird of Peshaston swerved to avoid hitting her as she was attempting to cross all 4 lanes of the highway. Castaneda was transported to Central Washington Hospital for treatment. She's been cited for failing to yield to traffic. Well, for the 4th year in a row, Pybus Public Market is displaying a large bra chandelier in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Aaron Cass of Wellness Place and Steve Robinson of Pybus Public Market explain how the project came together.
Susan Heineke is a huge supporter of this effort, she and her friends. So there's a decorating evening which takes place at Pybus. They bring down tassels, confetti, glue guns, you name it. And women and everyone can come together and decorate these bras. It's a great expression, it's a great outlet. It can be really comical, and it can be really healing for people, I think.
And having I don't know, maybe controversial piece of art in Pybus, it forces people to look up, talk, and maybe with their person they're with their partner, they'll say, whoa, and that leads them to the point of saying, oh, well, maybe that reminds me, I better get that mammogram test.
2 years ago, a woman approached me at Wellness Place and said, I was walking through Pybus Market, kind of laughed at the bra chandelier, but it reminded me to schedule a mammogram, which in fact she found she was a stage 1. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, so that's what it's all about. My big takeaway, again, if someone can walk by the bra chandelier and schedule a mammogram, that's a win.
Yeah, early detection, awareness, talking with people in your family about it, that's the win.
And we have women surviving cancer support groups twice a month where women of all different cancer diagnoses can come together and talk about what it's all about, what it means to them, how scary it is, how encouraging it can be to talk to other people. So the first and third Wednesdays of every month, the doors are open.
The Chandelier will also be making an appearance at the Town Toyota Center on the 28th of this month for the Wenatchee Wild's annual Pink at the Rink game. Coming up, with ballots on the way, we'll continue our series of profiles on candidates, this time for Leavenworth City Council. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza. Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back. Coming soon to a mailbox near you, ballots for the November 7th general election that were mailed out today in north central Washington. In Chelan and Douglas counties, voters will be deciding nonpartisan contests for several school board, city council, and special taxing district positions. Douglas County Auditor Thad Duvall says there are currently over 20,000 registered voters.
Well, we're hoping to get about 50%, but we'll soon know as the returns start coming back in. We'll probably see the returns coming pretty heavily starting next Monday.
Duvall predicts a 50% voter turnout, but his counterpart in Chelan County ups that prediction to 70%.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm thinking we'll get around 70% simply because virtually every school district, the cities are involved, and politics this year has been a little bit, let's say, exciting or excited. Therefore, I'm just thinking people are going to be a little bit more plugged in when it comes to their ballots, and they'll be sending them back to us.
Chelan County has over 43,000 registered voters. Ballots must be mailed back to the auditor's office with a November 7th postmark. If this is your first election, you can register to vote until October 30th, but only in person at the auditor's office. There are 3 city council positions in Leavenworth at play this election, and tonight, as our candidate profiles continue, we will focus on the position 4 seat. The 2 candidates are Carolyn Wilson and Jason Lundgren. Wilson is 67 years old and has been a council member since 2011. She held the same position from 2002 to 2006, and has also served as mayor pro tem for the last 3 years. One of the causes Wilson has championed is free parking for Leavenworth citizens. She says her experience in city government is an asset in terms of learning state statutes and organizing city ordinances. Meanwhile, Jason Lundgren is 42 years old, is the executive director of the Cascade Columbia Fisheries Enhancement Group, and was a former staff member for the State Recreation and Conservation Office in Olympia. Lundgren believes his work experience brings him in contact with diverse interest groups and stakeholders and hopes to apply that experience to problem solving on the City Council. Tomorrow night on the NCW Life Evening News, we will highlight the two candidates running for Leavenworth City Council position 5, Shannon Faye Waters and Gary Planigan. Coming off another legislative session that went into extra innings, Senator Brad Hawkins wants to talk about modernizing the session schedule to help lawmakers make the most of their limited time to meet at the state capitol. Steve Hare has more.
The 12th District Senator worked through 3 special sessions this year on top of 6 overtimes during his 4 years in the House of Representatives. Now he's planning to file 2 measures in December ahead of the 2018 legislative session. One proposal would simply change state law to move each session's opening day to the first Monday of February instead of the second Monday in January. His second measure, a Senate joint resolution, would remove consecutive, the word consecutive, from the part of the state constitution that defines the legislature's regular sessions as 60 or 105 consecutive days. Now, Hawkins said it does not matter whether his policy proposals are considered separately or together, but he said he hopes they will receive strong consideration in light of the frustration felt on both sides of the political aisle and from the public when the legislature can't get its business done in the allotted time. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you, Steve. Congressman Dave Reichert visited Wenatchee High School this afternoon to present the group Mariachi Wenatchee with a special gift from the White House.
Now, we had over 300 people attend the concert, and it was, people were dancing and singing, and it was just a great experience. It'll be, as you all know, I have a little over a year left, and then I'm going to leave at the end of 2018. I'll leave Congress. This will be one of the highlights. I'm being honest with you. This will be one of the highlights of my congressional career, is to be with you. The visit to Washington, D.C., I'm hoping becomes an annual event, because it gives that continued opportunity for students. As they graduate, they leave, right? New ones come up. So it gives those new students opportunities to experience the same thing that these kids did. And that is to visit the nation's capital, but not just visit the nation's capital, but be the center of attention for a moment in time, right? And perform. And they were the buzz on Capitol Hill on October 12th. As I said in my comments in presenting the flag that was flown over the Capitol on the day they performed, this will be one of the highlights in my career in Congress, the day they were there, because you just saw the happiness on their face and the pride in their talent, the pride in their team, the pride in their teacher, and the pride in their school and their city. And their country, for that matter, playing the national anthem and having everyone stand and have their hand over their heart in Washington, D.C. was a special experience.
You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come right here on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good day before the weekend on the prep schedule for today in soccer. First of all, we've got Okanagan on the road at Chelan and Caribou Trail Lake. On the B side, it's Manson at Tonasket. Back to the CTL Omak hosting Cascade. Wenatchee's on the road at Moses Lake for a 7 o'clock tilt. The Panthers can clinch the regular season title with a win tonight. Eastmont is at Sunnyside, meanwhile, at 7. Wildcats hoping to snap a 3-game losing streak. On the volleyball court tonight, it's Pateros and Entiat for the battle of first place in the Bs in North Central Washington. Meanwhile, Waterville-Mansfield is at Bridgeport, and Caribou Trail Lake Cascades at Omak, while Chelan is playing host to Okanagan. Moses Lake is at Wenatchee tonight. I'll be along Leanne Branham, as well as our NCW Life cameras. We'll tape that one for a later broadcast. Panthers currently in second place in the Big Nine. They can clinch the number 2 seed behind West Valley with a win tonight. Eastmont, meanwhile, needing to win 2 of their final 3 to host a district play-in game. They're hosting Sunnyside tonight at 7 o'clock. Also coming up for high schools here in the area today, in slow pitch softball, the Wenatchee Panthers hosting Eisenhower in a twin bill. Swimming and diving, everybody in the Big Nines in Moses Lake for the 11 dive meet. Well, it's Thursday, so that means it's hockey night tonight on the NCW Life channel. All begins at 7 o'clock with the voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker, when he sits down with coach and general manager Bliss Littler to talk about the recent Wenatchee games and their upcoming opponents. In addition, assistant coach Chris Clark interviews a player on Clarkie's Corner. It will all precede hockey at about 7:15 tonight when Wenatchee's game versus Vernon from the Town Toyota Center from October 11th will be on the air. Be sure to catch it all tonight during Hockey Night live on the NCW Life channel beginning at 7 o'clock. Well, the Yankees head back to Houston with a 3-2 lead in the American League Championship Series after a 5-0 shutout of the Astros last night in Game 5. Aaron Judge delivered an RBI double and scored on Didi Gregorius' RBI single that chased Astros ace Dallas Keuchel in the 5th inning, while Masahiro Tanaka fired 7 shutout innings to help the Yankees win their 3rd straight in the series. Tanaka's 2 starts of 7 shutout innings tie Roger Clemens and Whitey Ford for the most in a single postseason by a Yankees pitcher. Game 6 will be back in Houston, so the Astros hoping for some good home cooking. That game will be on Friday, 5 o'clock, and you can watch it on FS1. Javier Baez delivered 2 solo home runs to keep the Cubs alive in the National League Championship Series as Chicago topped the Dodgers 3-2 at Wrigley last night. Wilson Contreras also delivered a tape measure 491-foot solo home run to give Chicago fans one more chance to gather at the ballpark tonight for Game 5. Los Angeles tries for a 2nd consecutive night to move on to the World Series and will send Clayton Kershaw to the mound to face the Cubs' Jose Quintana. We'll have all of the highlights, well, not the highlights, but we'll have the recap for you coming up tomorrow morning with Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, so be sure and tune in for that as the boys of summer now well into the fall. It's interesting, the World Series could not wrap up until the 1st week of November. Too much baseball? I think a little bit. Hey, don't forget, coming up next week, it's the Battle of Eastmont and Wenatchee in the Bridge of Sportsmanship game. That'll be 7 o'clock on Friday night. We're going to have a live broadcast starting at 6:30 right here on the NCW Life channel to talk about all the things happening around the game besides the game. We'll have special guests joining us on the broadcast, so be sure and tune in for that next Friday starting at 6:30 right here on the NCW Life channel. And tickets for the game will go on sale in both ASB offices for Eastmont and Wenatchee starting on Monday, so you can get your tickets early for that. That's sports. Grant, back to you.
Thanks, Eric. In late July 2016, 4 Wenatchee men set out on an Arctic River expedition. Traveling by canoe, the adventurers, Andy Dappin, Neil Hedges, Paul Hesberg, and Robbie Scott, journeyed to Point Lake, Canada, where they began a 350-mile journey through the Coppermine River and the Inuit village of Kugluktuk. It took over 25 days to complete their journey, and Paul Hesberg documented it all through the use of poetry and photography.
Today we would stroke through the falls named the Bloody. We portaged it quick, turned lakes into putty. Below the falls we pitched camp, and blessed our luck. The river roared, waves crashed, we were all awestruck.
In the morn we made way for the ocean still north. The Beaufort, a sea, it was calling us forth. Made it to Kututup at 1:29, a poor oceanside hamlet, also called Copper Mine. Our trip on the river had ended today. Our beaches, our camps, our wild river play. We'd feast on rich memories for many a day.
A vast Arctic landscape that opened its arms, shared forests and rivers and tundraland charms. Its open expanses we'd not soon forget, its azure blue skies and blazing sunsets. Its loons and its wolves and bald eagles too, its muskox and hawks and lone caribou. Where were the great herds of many years past? Would the caribou be gone, we silently asked? At coming of man, a dark shadow cast. Flying away, one last look at the sea, another trip to the Arctic, perhaps there will be. Paul Hesberg.
What an adventure. We'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Romaine Electric in Wenatchee is your one-stop repair shop for all your auto, marine, small engine, or heavy-duty truck electric motor needs. Does your battery need to be replaced? Their technicians will have you up and running. The diagnostic team at Romaine Electric identifies and repairs all electrical issues from farm, truck, marine, industrial, diesel, ATV, and PWC. Romaine Electric in the Industrial Park off Ferry Street and Wenatchee Avenue. Stop by or give them a call today at 663-8150.
And now a recap of some of our top stories. Arson investigators were combing through the ruins of a residential structure fire this morning in Wenatchee. Police and crews were called out around 5:20 this morning to the fire located at a vacant two-story home in the 1500 block of Walla Walla Avenue. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department describes what happened.
Upon arrival, fire crews determined that the fire had started in the boat that was parked outside the residence and then extended to the house. At this time, the boat is totally gone. It was basically consumed and melted by the fire. Fiberglass and fire get along very well once they start burning. The house itself has pretty decent structural damage. At this point, the fire has been determined to be suspicious, so it is under investigation. We would ask that people not be going down there. The road's relatively narrow there. There's a lot of commercial traffic with Bluebird fruit shippers right across the street and the other fruit warehouse basically next door to this last residence on that part of Walla Walla Street. And so just give crews room to work.
The fire was put out in short order with no injuries. The name of the homeowner was not released. A Grant County Interagency Narcotics Enforcement Team, or INET, made a record drug bust totaling $1.2 million this month after a traffic stop made last year in Moses Lake. In October of 2016, a suspect was found with nearly 8 pounds of meth and heroin. A narcotics team investigation led to an additional 7 warrants served, netting more than 25 pounds of meth, 7 pounds of heroin, and 40 pounds of processed marijuana. Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones said this is the largest drug seizure in the history of INET. With the help of Moses Lake Police, Jose Miranda was arrested last year during that traffic stop, leading to the arrest of 27-year-old Maria Chavez Diaz of Moses Lake. Also recovered were 9 guns, 2 of them stolen, body armor, a money counter, and a metal detector with warrants served on homes and storage units throughout Grant County. This latest INET arrest comes on the heels of an arrest earlier this month where law enforcement officials seized 41,000 pounds of marijuana, 56 illegal firearms, and a large amount of cash throughout Grant County. A Peshastin woman was injured Wednesday after she was struck by a pickup truck while attempting to walk across Highway 2 near Dryden. A State Patrol report identified the woman as 64-year-old Esperanza Curiel Castaneda. She was hit after the driver of a 2002 Toyota Tacoma pickup driven by 66-year-old Roger Baird of Peshastin swerved to avoid hitting her as she was attempting to cross all 4 lanes of the highway. Castaneda was transported to Central Washington Hospital for treatment. She's been cited for failing to yield to traffic. And now your weather forecast for north central Washington. Let's take a quick look outside our weather window where once again we saw a lot of low clouds and some scattered shower activity as the forecast area remained a little wet today as a low pressure system slowly sags through the region. A cold front just off the Washington coast will follow on Friday for showers, gusty winds, and cooler temperatures. We'll see sustained winds of 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts to 25 to 35 miles an hour. That will be likely tomorrow. Then on Saturday through Sunday night, a large moist atmospheric river of precipitation and a strong upper jet stream aimed right at our area will bring heavy amounts of rain and areas of windy conditions through the weekend. Weather models now show the potential for 4 to 7 inches of precipitation near the Cascade Crest here in Chelan County, with significant slopovers spilling into Stehekin, Plain, and Leavenworth, with 2 to 3 inches of rain possible there. The rain combined with mountain snowmelt will lead to rises on area rivers and streams, but no flooding is expected at this time, although the Stehekin River will be closely monitored. Mountain snow will also be a distinct possibility on Saturday. The cold front then passes through on Sunday afternoon with much warmer temperatures. As the upper level ridge of high pressure builds, we can expect quieter weather on Monday into much of next week with high temperatures in the upper 50s to middle 60s. Here's a look at that forecast now. We will see temperatures tonight around 42 degrees. High temperatures tomorrow with those windy conditions will be 57, 40 degrees for an overnight low Friday night. On Saturday, we'll top off at only 49 degrees. Once again, we could see a tremendous amount of rain, especially in the mountains of Chelan County. 49 are high. Rain continues Saturday night and into Sunday. Sunday will top off at around 57. And then the nice weather returns for us on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we will enjoy sunshine, light winds with temperatures then in the low 60s and lows right around 40 degrees. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, make sure you tune in to NCW Life Channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and all the latest news with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life Channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life Channel on Twitter.
Hey everyone, Frank Ferrari here at Frank's Used Cars, where everybody gets a good deal. Today's deal is F-150 under 300,000 miles. Yesterday, $55.95. Today, it's only $213. At this price, this thing won't last long. Hurry on down to Frank Ferrari's Used Cars, where everybody gets a good deal. Right, Fred? Forget about Frank. Here at Town Nissan, we're fun, we're fair, and we're fabulous. Town Nissan, behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season, and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
I'm Dan Longauger with Coho 101, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.